City Council. It is Monday, November 17th, 2025. It is 6 o'clock. I will declare a quorum is present. So at this time, we'll call this meeting to order. At this point, I will ask Councilman Rosso if you will lead us in the prayer and the pledge.
Let's pray. Lord, we thank you for another chance to come together to make very important decisions. We thank you for this council. Thank you for the city manager and the mayor. Everyone under the sound of my voice, Lord, we pray that you bless them, keep them. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor to Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you, and you may be seated. As usual, first thing on our agenda is going to be citizens' comments. I have a pretty good stack of them here this afternoon. So the first one on our list is Mr. Sam Reyna.
Mayor, Council, good evening. My name is Sam Reyna and I reside in 2002 North Avenue G. The 350-acre tract urban renewal property owned by Clint Wong, when the city sold it to him, it was zoned for residential use. When he bought the property, he said he was going to develop new housing, which is what we need in Freeport. But he has not developed new housing and never will. That's my opinion. And there's no clawback stipulation on the contract agreement. That stipulation, no agreement on that stipulation, and now he wants the urban renewal property rezoned for industrial use. Then he has the option to develop or lease out to develop chemical plants, gas plants, etc. The citizens that own property adjoining the urban renewal property do not want to share a border with any type of industrial use. Nicole Mireles, Andy Dill, Eric Hayes, and myself knocked on doors of all property owners that live within a buffer zone of 200 feet. Mr. Dill was given a list of residents' names that live within that zone, but a lot of addresses were left off that list. For example, there's 4 houses on Avenue G, the same buffer zone, and only one was on the list that the city gave us. Plus, all the residents on the 200 feet buffer zone were supposed to receive a letter in the mail notifying them about the discussion of possible rezoning from residential to industrial. Not one resident received the letter. Who was responsible for sending those letters out? Were they supposed to be sent out regular mail or certified? If they were certified, there's got to be some proof that they were sent out. Otherwise, we don't have no idea if they were sent out or not. But not one resident received it. As a matter of fact, a lot of them didn't even know that Mr. Rosso was their councilman, and they wanted to know how he stand on that issue. And at the time, I didn't know, but I'm glad you voted the way you did. But you picked up yourself some votes. But anyway, Mr. Wong felt that now was the time to have the property rezoned because of a weak city council. And he will use the situation of a weak council selfishly and unfairly for profit or gain. That's his MO. Mr. Wong will manipulate circumstances for his own benefit, has been doing it for years, and he's very good at it. Mr. Wong is the owner of some prime real estate and will never develop that property. For example, the 13 acres by the high school, he paid $138,000 for the property. Ms. Lucy Ware paid $78,000 for just one lot. One paid $138,000 for 13 acres. Anyway, how did Mr. Wong get the property so cheap? In the 13 acres agreement, in the 13 contract agreement, there is a clawback stipulation in that contract. He's supposed to start developing that property within 5 years. It's going on 10, and I don't see no development. Hire some attorney and try and get it back. He has breached
Reyna.
that contract. Right on time.
Right on time.
Thank you, sir.
Next, we have Mr. Tom Pearson.
Good afternoon. Tom Pearson, 110 South Front, Freeport. Concerning the vote in executive session to hire Chris Duncan as the contracted attorney for the city of Freeport, is he still attorney of record representing Councilman Pena in a lawsuit against the city of Freeport? September 10, 2025 is the last entry of record for proposed order granting motion for withdrawal of counsel. Duncan still shows to be retained by Council Pena. It would show a strike through on the record if the motion had been granted or approved. And if Duncan tells council he no longer represents Jeff Pena, has he shown council any proof of his withdrawal? I would think council would want to know before they make a vote to hire Duncan or not. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next is Miss Melanie Oldham.
Good evening, Melanie Oldham, 531 West Brazos in Freeport. Real quickly on 4F, like I said, I go to a lot of the EDC meetings, and I heard Mr. Pennington and others, the water line valve installation project, which I think is a good thing. That money is meant to replace those old valves and improve things downtown and in that general area. So I think that's a good project. Also, I'm not sure what 4G is, but I think it's for y'all to discuss about hiring a grant writing firm to hopefully TWD, maybe to get funding, I don't know, for the wastewater treatment plant, whatever that might be, but if that's the case, it's a good thing. And then finally, in executive session, I see where you're going to talk about economic development negotiations with development agreement with Skymark, which is again Clinton Wong. He has several companies, several names, but I assume that might be for his property, 13 acres off of Skinner, plus he owns all the property across the street by CVS. But again, it's kind of like the urban renewal land, you know, for 10 years plus, people have been trying to negotiate with him. But he had promised on the 13 acres that he would put either single-family homes or really nice townhomes, and he promised he would keep a green zone between Heritage Park and whatever he builds, because he would have to put a road there. But if anybody negotiates with him, of course, he's asked, I don't know how many times, to make that into mud, and we all know that would be a very bad deal for anybody that bought a house in that area. But I think out of good faith, if Mr. Wong would prove that he would do one thing that he promised 10 years ago and put some housing in off of 2nd Street, that would be a place that maybe there could be some negotiations for the rest of his land, but he hasn't shown us one time that he's followed through on his promises for housing in the city of Freeport. But anyway, and then I know I was out of town, but I watched the previous city council meetings, and as far as the urban renewal land, again, it says clearly in the agreement that you all have read that, you know, he can rezone residential to only commercial and light industry, and I don't think that's changed. So there, y'all have room for leverage negotiations with him, but you got to stay firm and have him do something in good faith for our city.
Thank you, ma'am. Next is Mr. Thomas Cool.
Good evening, City Council.
Good evening.
Okay, first of all, I want to correct the mistake I made last City Council meeting. I said Holly Street to Velasco. I'm talking about 4th Street. That was wrong. It's Yupon to Velasco. Okay, got that correct. Okay, down 4th Street, from Yupon to Velasco, 95 citations last 7 years. 23 crashes on the intersection of Pecan and 4th Street, and only 2 citations running stop signs. Okay, y'all know about the first meeting I went to. I came to Sergeant Torres, even told me there was a problem there. He almost got hit. Last Thursday, there's 3 patrol officers patrolling that deal. I stopped and talked to Corporal Collins. Within 20, 30 minutes, he had 4 vehicles pulled over. Okay. Elementary school 7 blocks away, intermediate blocks away, the high school 6 blocks away. I had a meeting with Public Works Director, and he's gonna put engineers to survey and investigate the problem. It does not take a rocket scientist to figure out there's a problem at that intersection. Stop wasting taxpayer money. I've got FOIA reports here. I've got testimonies from residents. I've seen 3 accidents. I went door by door down 4th Street, Broad Street, 5th Street. People are terrorized of that intersection. They're scared. They're just scared. We voted y'all into office. We have a right for y'all's decision to hopefully vote in the right thing for the residents of Freeport. They're terrorized of this intersection. Why should we live in fear? The people involved in the accidents, the children, most of all will make it through life without it, but there's some children that won't, because children, their mind are developing, and it could ruin them for the rest of their life to function in society. We have to do something. We need to slow down that traffic on 4th. That's the problem. If somebody passed that stop sign, if they weren't going so darn fast, accidents won't be as ugly as they are. People here from Broad Street, from 5th Street, they're bad accidents. Come on, man, we're praying, we're hoping that y'all will make the right decision and to vote in what the residents of Freeport want, not what they're scared to terrorize. Please. You know, oh, that's a paper. But anyway, we're hoping that y'all make the right decisions, please. You know, why are we wasting taxpayers' money? The 2 stop signs y'all put over there, the lighted up ones, thank y'all. But that's not enough. And they're 2 different kinds of lighted stop signs. The residents I talked to, they want a 4-way stop. Even Corporal Collins, when I talked to him Thursday, I didn't even tell him that I wanted, and the resident wants a 4-way stop. He said, yes, there's a problem. That intersection needs a 4-way stop. We're hoping y'all make the right decision. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Manning Rollerson.
Good afternoon, council.
Good evening.
It's a good day. It's a good day. I also want to hit on what Melody Odom was talking about, the urban renewal land. Those houses That land was promised by the citizens of Freeport. The city promised to build them homes. We have enough industrial in Freeport. Nobody holds not one of these industrial companies accountable. Our death rate, our disease rate is high. Permitting of dumping from every industry into the water to increase the dumping every 4 to 5 years, it still contaminates the water. Texas A&M did a study on the Brazos River, contaminated. So why we got more industrial in this community than we got homes? Where's the workforce? Coming from Bay City, Houston, Pearland? Why aren't they living in Freeport? There's no housing. There's no qualified communities or safe communities. As the gentleman was just speaking, you can't even go past that street without getting T-boned, because my nephew, my mama, and my daughter got T-boned on that same road, and that was in '96. Nothing's never been done. We have a highly impacted industrial community that has shown no growth in 57 years, none in population. This gentleman, Mr. Wong, promised to build houses under Norma Garcia. We still don't have them. Promised to redevelop downtown. We went into a lawsuit, lost $20 million because we dropped the case. He still didn't do the development. But yet he quick to come and wine and dine every dang gone body to try to change your mind. But the loyalty is supposed to be with the people. That's where your loyalty lies, with us. We reject this because we have nothing in the community. How can you have a community that's strong, that's going to be profitable for the future, when you can't even have a tax base in the community? You're dependent on the industry to pay their tax base, and they're not paying their tax bases like they're supposed to. Because Freeport LNG got another 15 years extension. 15 years extension. But the taxpayers is burdened for that 15 years. When are we going to stop paying for industries that's supposed to be multi-billion-dollar conglomerates, but yet they need the taxpayers' dollars to be able to build and operate? Don't sound like a multi-trillion-dollar company to me, when it has to take corporate welfare from the most vulnerable people in the most vulnerable cities. Enough is enough, guys. Thank God that y'all, Mr. Matamoros and Mr. Winston, is thinking about our city. Mr. Pena, Mr. Davis, Mr. Merritt, it's us. What's important is growing Freeport. That's what's important. 41 years of raising my children and promising communities, we haven't seen them. My daughter is 41 years old. She started elementary here. And we still haven't seen the homes. Every council we get, they quick to bow down to the industry instead of thinking about the people. We pay more money into taxes and abatements and bonds to the school district. What they do with it? Trickle down economics and expect it to come back to the community, and it's not going to come back to the community.
Thank you,
Freeport
Mr.
suffered
Rollerson.
enough. I thank you guys for electing a good a good city manager, and I hope she work out. But let's please think about the citizens of Freeport for a change. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Next, we have the consent agenda. On the consent agenda, we have 2A, action regarding the minutes of November 3rd, 2025 meeting. 2B, approval of road closures for Christmas on Main Street, Saturday, December 6th, 2025. 2C, action approving the monthly financial report through October 31st, 2025. And 2D, action approving the road closure for the MLK Junior Parade on January 19th. Council, what is your pleasure?
I'll make a motion that we approve as read.
We have a motion to approve by Councilman Rosso. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Matamoros. Any discussion on this, gentlemen? Hearing none, I will call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed state nay.
Nay.
Motion carries 4-1. Councilman Pena being the nay. What we got for upcoming events?
We have the Mary Museum Christmas at the Freeport Historical Museum, November 29th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Then there's Holiday on the Brasses. That'll be at Freeport Municipal Park, December 5th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Followed by the Blue Santa Pancake Breakfast at the Freeport River Place, December 6th from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. The inaugural Christmas on Main Street in historic downtown, December 6th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. And last is the Senior Citizens Christmas Party. It'll be at River Place, December 15th from 10 a.m. to 12 noon.
Thank you, Mr. Pennington. There is one event that we have coming up that was left out, and it's kind of an important event. We have the Thanksgiving Super Feast coming up at the River Place. They're on Thanksgiving Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. Looking for volunteers between hours of 9 and 3, and they'll be serving dinner from 11 to 1:30. So make sure, let everybody know that needs a good meal or just wants to come out. Come on out. There's going to be plenty to eat. All right, moving on. Agenda item 4A, consideration and possible action approving resolution number 2025-2995, appointing a member to the Historical Commission and Main Street Advisory Board. Ms. Lopez.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
Staff recommends that the City Council appoint one of the two recommended applicants, Michelle Beckman or Flora Green, to fill the vacant position on the Freeport Historical Commission and Main Street Advisory Board, left by Lucy Martinez, whose term expires May 31st, 2027. This item considers approval of a resolution appointing a qualified individual to fill the unexpired term of Lucy Martinez, who recently resigned from the Freeport Historical Commission and Main Street Advisory Board. Board member Lucy Martinez resigned before the end of her appointed term, which is set to expire on May 31st, 2027. The Main Street Advisory Board reviewed the applications submitted for the vacant position and has recommended two qualified applicants, Michelle Beckman and Flora Green, for City Council's review and consideration. The Main Street Advisory Board reviewed, Michelle Beckman and Flora Green as the candidates to fill the vacancy. Although only one position was posted to fill the vacancy, the vote conducted by the Historical Commission and Main Street Board on September 18th resulted in a tie between the two applicants. Because of this tie, both candidates were brought to City Council for final consideration. Both candidates are here if you have any questions.
Thank you very much. I would like to invite both candidates up and share a little bit about yourself and why you want to put yourself through this.
Good evening, good evening. I'm Michelle Beckman.
Good evening.
I'd just like to say that I think I'll be a good candidate. I do a lot for the community. I've been here 60 years, hey. But my job and my business come first, but I'm willing to make a difference in Freeport. I love my city. It has good dream and vision. We just got to get it moving forward. and I think I'll be a good candidate for the job. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Green.
Hello.
Good
evening, guys. My name is Flora Green. I know I would like to thank you for your time here, for acknowledging me. I would like to volunteer for the Main Street Board in Freeport, Texas. I tell you a little bit about myself. I'm from Bay City, Texas. I retired from the post office back in September. Worked there for 30 years. Been in the public side for many, many years. I'm not going to say how many because that'll tell my age. But I've been in the public mainstream for a long time, okay? And of course, with the downtown renovation and everything else that you guys have going on, I think it'd be a good idea to bring all that back to the Freeport area. And I think it'll look great if it's all brought together in one little area. But other than that, thank you for your time and have a great evening.
We appreciate that. That's two good attitudes, which is what we need on these boards. Before we go any further, I'm going to ask, I guess I got to do this in front of the mic. I want to ask legal. It's my understanding that we have had another person resign from that board today. If that's the case, can we appoint both of these, or will we have to do it one today and one at a later date?
Was the resignation in writing?
Yes, I believe Clarissa has it.
Okay. Then you can go ahead with 2 appointments.
All right, so council, I was just told that there was another resignation on the board today, so there is 2 vacancies. Legal says we can appoint 2 tonight if we so feel. Who is, I think, Councilman Davis is the liaison, correct? So we'll allow you to make the first motion.
Yes, sir. All right. I want to thank both of you ladies for your volunteer to step up and be a part of, Freeport, the Main Street Board. Michelle, I think you got, a good business mind. You got vision. And Ms. Green, you got a lot of energy. So you might have a lot of time. You say you're retired. All right. That's what we need. That's what we need. So I'm going to make a motion to appoint Ms. Bagman and Ms. Green to the Main Street.
One at a time, please.
Oh, one at a time? Well, Ms. Bagman first. We're going to go with Ms. Bagman first.
I'll second it.
Council, we have a motion by Councilman Davis,
I'll second it.
seconded by Councilman Pena, to appoint Ms. Backman. Any discussion on this, gentlemen? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed state nay. Motion carries unanimously. Council, is there another motion that we want to make tonight?
Yes, I'll make another motion.
Yes, sir.
We'll make a motion to appoint Mrs. Green to the Main Street Advisory Board.
We have a motion to appoint Ms. Green, seconded by Councilman Pena, is that correct?
Yes.
Motion was made by Councilman Davis, seconded by Pena. Any discussions on this one, gentlemen?
Mayor, I just would like to know who resigned.
Ms. Old.
Ms.
Old.
Okay.
So I will call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed state nay. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, ladies, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item 4B, consideration and possible action approving ordinance number 2025-2751, approval of the Slaughter Road generator. Mr. Regal.
Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Good evening.
Considering possible action for the approval of Slaughter Road generator. Staff recommendations authorize approval of purchase of turnkey installation of a 96 kilowatt natural gas generator at the Slaughter Road pump station from Worldwide Power Products in the total amount of $95,750. This purchase provides a complete energy generator system and installation to ensure uninterrupted service at the Slaughter Road Pump Station during the utility outages. The scope includes procurement of the generator, automatic transfer switch, electrical installation, concrete pad, a gas connection, freight, and startup. Some background information. The Slaughter Road Pump Station is a critical facility for the city's water. During extended power outages, operations are at risk of backup, they are at risk without a backup generator. The proposed Gillette SP 960-3-2N2 96 kilowatt generator with sounded alternate enclosure and automatic transfer switch will provide reliable emergency power. The vendor will perform all electrical, mechanical, and site work necessary to deliver a turnkey solution. Special considerations. Price reflects vendor participation under TIPS Cooperative Purchasing Contract number 221001, vendor number 4981. Delivery and installation are estimated 4 to 6 weeks from order. City is responsible for extending CenterPoint's gas line within 5 foot of the generator. Permitting and floodplain structural surveys beyond the electrical drawings are by others. The financial impact is the total package is $95,750 plus applicable term surcharge. Quote is good through 12/31 of 2026. Cost breakdowns include generator at $35,000, installation of $45,000, startup $2,000, concrete $6,000, generator stand at $3,500, gas connection at $2,500, and the crane at $1,750. The board recommendations: total turnkey package at $95,750 plus applicable term surcharge with the cost breakdowns I just gave you.
Thank you, Rudy.
Mayor, I'm going to make a motion to approve as presented.
We have a motion to approve by Councilman Matamoros. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Rosso. Any questions or comments on this item, gentlemen?
Yeah, I got one.
Yes,
Is there only one generator out there in that area? Or we have multiple?
This would be the only one for the water plant, yes, sir.
The one for the water plant?
Yes, sir, and I don't believe the sewer plant has one, because if you don't have any water coming in, you really don't need one for the sewer plant right yet. You got some time with your lift station capacities in order to intake it.
Okay. I was just trying to make sure, because I remember one time we were talking about a generator when the Viola contract, when Viola was here.
Yes,
And
sir.
it was like that they were responsible for the generator.
I don't know about them being responsible for the generator, but there was one on site. It was a temporary generator that they moved in and rented for a long-term, for a short-term solution.
Yeah. So we are responsible for this
Yes, sir.
generator?
We're responsible for our power and any secondary emergency power.
All right.
I have a couple of questions, Mayor.
yes, sir.
Mr. Regal, how long has this particular pump been, or backup here, been in need?
Probably since inception. I know TCEQ came through after the big cold snap and almost made it mandatory to get them on all water and waste, or for sure all water, in one of their plans that they came across statewide.
When did they make that recommendation or make that identification?
I want to say, please don't quote me on this because I'd have to look it up.
I think was after the freeze,
Yeah, after-
Uri.
Yeah, after the Uri freeze, which was 2021.
So for the last, I guess, 4.5 years, what have we been doing to meet that need or that requirement? Nothing?
Veolia has been bringing in a temporary generator when needed.
And how has that been working, and what's that been costing the city?
I don't have the numbers on that, sir.
Okay.
And as far as how it's been working, you know, as long as you keep fueling it, it's been working.
And so is that something under Veolia's contract for them to actually service and at their expense, or is that something the city absorbs?
I believe the city absorbs it in the R&M.
But we don't know what that number is?
No, sir.
It's hard to do a cost comparison to what those costs might be compared to the $95,750. I mean, if it's costing us $200 a month, I kind of like $200 a month.
Yes, sir, but what you don't have with this one will actually be on site. The one that Veolia currently has is only brought in on emergency situations.
As needed, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, it's still the same difference, though. I'm just trying to figure out a
If
number
the power
comparison.
goes out in the middle of the night, there's nobody there to catch it, and then you run out of water.
Is Veolia on call, or is anybody on call?
Yes, sir, they are. But without power there, you can't get it there in time. You still have to do a boil water notice.
Yeah. I would like to see those numbers, would have liked to see those numbers. Otherwise, I feel like we're just shooting in the dark here. I mean, there's a need there, but it's been met since 2021. I mean, if it's been costing us $300,000 or $100,000 a year, it's a no-brainer. But again, I don't even know what that number is. We don't have any idea. Do you have any idea as to how many days Veolia has put that emergency pump out there, or generator?
I do not.
We need more information. We need to know the current costs and the current needs of the equipment, because otherwise, this is like just making a blind decision. I can't support it without that information. I just want to let you know. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thanks, sir. Council, any other questions or comments?
And we did say we put a bid out, I mean, not a bid, but we looked at different prices.
Yes, sir. I have 3 different quotes
Three
here.
different quotes.
And no one's from Veolia is here?
No, sir.
No.
All right, council, with that, I will call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed state nay.
Nay.
Thank you.
Aye. Motion carries 4-1. Councilman Pena with the nay. Thank you, Rudy. Agenda item 4C, consideration and possible action approving ordinance number 2025-2752, canvassing the results and declaring the results of the November 4th, 2025 special election. Mr. Pennington.
Mayor, this is just canvassing, as you mentioned, the election that was for civil service. You can see attached to your agenda what the votes were, roughly 2-1 in favor of. Staff recommends approval of the ordinance canvassing the election returns and declaring the official results of November the 4th, 2025. Special election regarding the adoption of firefighters and police officers civil service law pursuant to Chapter 143 of the Texas Local Government Code.
Council, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve by Councilman Pena. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Councilman Davis. As I see it, the final count was 295 for and 154 against. Is there any questions or comments needed on this item, gentlemen? Hearing none, I will call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed state nay. Motion carries unanimously. Agenda item 4D, consideration and possible action approving resolution number 2025-2996, appointing a candidate for the Board of Directors of the Brazoria County Appraisal District. Mr. Pennington.
Mayor, this is, as you mentioned, appointing a candidate to the Board of Directors for the Brazoria County Appraisal District. In your packet, you'll see at the back, there are 8 names. If I understand this correctly, Clarissa can correct me, but I think we have 8 votes total to cast. So that's however y'all would like to break those up. but staff recommends approval of resolution nominating, constituting, and appointing a qualified person or persons to the Board of Directors for the Brazoria County Appraisal District for the upcoming 4-year term beginning January 1, 2026.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to nominate Eric Hayes with all the votes.
We have a motion to appoint Eric Hayes and allotting all 8 votes with him. That was the motion.
Yes, sir.
That's made by Councilman Pena. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Matamoros. Before we call the vote, I want to make sure everybody understands the way this is broken down. The city of Freeport actually has 8 votes in the process, and we can appoint one person for all 8 votes. We can appoint 2 people, 4 each, or 1, 7, however we want to do it. We can do 4 people, or we can do 8 people with 1 apiece.
I think Eric Hayes has demonstrated he's very well qualified, does a lot of homework on P and Z, so I feel confident with my nomination. I understand what the votes mean.
I agree with you. I think Eric Hayes would be great for it. I just wanted to make sure council understood what the process is here. So is there any other questions or comments, gentlemen? Hearing none, I will call the vote. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
All opposed state nay. Congratulations, Eric. Agenda item 4E, consideration and possible action approving resolution number 2025-2997, appointing a member to the Senior Citizens Commission. Mr. Pennington.
Yes, Mayor, the Senior Citizen Commission has several openings. Ms. Laird recently joined this last meeting. This meeting here, Nicole Morellis has applied, and I believe she is here tonight. Where is she here? There she is, yes. So she's here on her behalf. We're recommending approval for Ms. Morellis.
Ms. Morellis, would you like to come up here and introduce yourself and explain to us why you want to get involved?
Hi, guys. I know I don't have to introduce myself, but anyway, senior citizens, I usually go, and I went today, and we do have a need for something different there. Something was lacking today. I talked to Dan earlier about it, but nonetheless, I love my city. I've been here 77 years, and I'm not going anywhere. You can knock me down, but I'm still here, and I'm love being involved, and hopefully we can make a difference, and I hope we get another person. I'm trying.
I got one more.
Oh, you got one? Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Councilman Rosso, I believe you're the liaison.
Yes, yes, I am.
Would you like to make a motion?
Oh, yes, I'd love to make a motion to accept Nicole.
We have a motion to accept by Councilman Rosso. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Matamoros. Any discussion, questions, or comments on this, gentlemen? How many more vacancies do we have?
There are 5 more. I got
5
one
more.
more application today. That gives us 3. If we get a 4th one, we'll have a quorum, so we can start having meetings.
So start spreading the word.
Yes, sir.
So no meetings can be had until we have a quorum, is that right?
Correct. We had bingo today. There are probably 7,500 people that showed up.
Yep.
So I'll call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed state nay.
Nay.
Motion carries 4-1. Agenda item 4F, consideration and possible action approving the EDC Fund Project Waterline Valve Installation Project. Mr. Pennington.
Yes, Mayor, this was brought to the EDC. They had put in their budget a line item for $250,000, I forget what it was exactly, for valves, specifically targeting our infrastructure around our businesses. We had Nick Meeks go through the map, looking at where we could kind of get the most bang for the buck, and he identified those places. They appear there on the map. We currently have large sections in the city where if there's a break, it's hard to control that, turn that water off where you're not impacting large segments. So these valves, in addition to another grant that Ashley's worked on, we'll probably get somewhere between 40 and 50 total valves between both projects. So we're excited to be able to do that, and like I said, to just have less of an impact on our business community. Primarily, there'll also be some residential in there. So anyway, staff has recommended approval of the item.
Thank you, sir. Council, I will entertain a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion to table this.
We have a motion to table by Councilman Pena. Is there a second? Motion fails on lack of a second. Is there another motion, gentlemen?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
We have a motion to approve by Councilman Matamoros. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Rosso. Discussion, gentlemen?
You have a few questions
Yes, sir.
and concerns. The first question I would have is, on this map, the print and the font is quite small. I don't know if the residents can see it overhead or not, and if it could be zoomed in. No? That's terrible. We got to improve our technology. This is what, 288 on this map? And, you know, for the residents, you can't see what we see, but there's a map here, and it's got what seems like a view of part of Freeport. It's really hard to tell. And so then I see red dots. I see what looks like properties. And I'm just trying to figure out a couple of things. And I'll tell where I'm going with all this. There's nobody from the EDC here to actually discuss about this and or talk about this intelligently as far as why and this actually got approved at the EDC. And is there anybody from the EDC here? Nobody. Interesting. Well, I'm just kind of curious what businesses these pumps are supposed to serve, number one. Number two, how much has the city already paid for in these valves, in the number of valves that we've paid for? And then how many valves are we asking the EDC to pay for, if that has actually been enumerated? And those are my first questions, but then I also have some compliance questions.
The number of valves is listed in the document at 26. The estimated cost is 209. I believe they budgeted 200,000.
And how many have the city paid for?
How many have the city paid for?
Yeah. Or is there-
None, to my knowledge.
Okay, so there's a total of 26 for the project?
Yes, that's what it says.
And of those 26, how much of it is the city paying for?
None.
Oh, none. And I'm trying to understand what businesses this is supposed to be serving?
I did not ask for all the businesses. I asked Mr. Neeks to go through the map to identify where we could have the most impact with the 26 valves on the businesses.
For 26,000 businesses?
No, I did not
What
say
did you say? I'm sorry, I
26,000.
misheard you.
I asked Mr. Meeks to go through the map to identify the best, most effective locations so that we could benefit the businesses.
Oh, benefit the businesses. Any businesses specifically we're benefiting, or is this just, I'm just trying to understand the methodology.
I don't know a specific business that is impacting.
Okay.
He was just supposed to make sure the primary impact were businesses.
Okay, so no specific business has been impacted or been identified, number one.
I don't have the names.
Yeah. Well, we don't have it in here, so they're not identified. There's no names, because they haven't been identified. That's the problem I have. Yet again, we're coming to council with incomplete information. And I got to tell you why this is important to me, because I was on the EDC for about good 3-4 years, and never once were we ever using EDC money for valves or any other city infrastructure. There's very specific rules to the usage of EDC monies, and to that end, when I saw this on the agenda here, it just really raised my curiosity. So I reached out to the state, the EDC regulators, and they were giving me some guidance on this, and shared with me that in a couple of issues here is that the EDC money cannot be used for general infrastructure cost, water projects, certainly not beyond, not to this particular scale, number one, and more importantly, there has to be a specific project that has to be identified, and then the water component of that, or any portion that the EDC is going to be paying, can't exceed 30% of that project. So without those baseline items there, I'm already thinking this doesn't even qualify. But then I'm trying to figure out, okay, there's another parameter. It's supposed to be able to identify the project, in this case, this 26 valve project of $200,000. Supposed to identify what project and what company or companies it's supposed to benefit specifically, and more importantly, the use of this money is intended to make sure that we actually create jobs. And so none of that is in here. None of that has been identified. And we can pass it, but I'm going to tell you, the problem you have with that is that, number one, we risk losing our EDC credentials if we do that, wrongfully so. Best case scenario, EDC comes back to us, the state level, comes to the city of Freeport and says, hey, slap on the hand, give that $200,000 back to the EDC and pull it out of the general fund. Worst case scenario, state says, hey, you guys have abused this, it's illegal, we're removing your EDC credentials. And now we really screwed ourselves. Why? Because now we don't get that EDC money. And I just want to make sure, yet again, that we're doing things here in compliance. So you guys want to vote on this, move it forward. I understand the spirit of it all. But we got to do things right. And that's why I'm kind of surprised this is even here, because typically a project out of the EDC requires hearings, requires so much more than has been provided at this moment here. So I'm not sure why we're entertaining this as an EDC project, EDC money. I'm not even sure who approached the EDC on this, when in fact, if this was a real need to stay compliant, we should just come back to the city. We have $200,000 in our general fund. This seems like it's a good reason and a good cause to do a budget amendment. So those are my issues, those are my concerns, and my recommendation is that we don't move forward with this until we actually get some clarification from the EDC offices of the state, and for that matter, some better answers from the EDC senior officials who are not here. No further comments, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. Council, any other questions or comments?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Can anybody back up any of that? I mean, have any information on, Chris, do you have any information on?
I know that Chris
issues?
will send the attorney's explanation. He had a question, I think it came up last time, about a hearing. No hearing is required on this kind of project. Their attorney has already looked at the project. It qualifies. We're not going to lose any money or any funding or any title of EDC over this project. These kinds of projects for a city of our size, public hearings are waived. This was in their budget and originally approved by council back when their budget was passed. I'll leave the rest of it to Chris.
Thank you. And who, the attorney Olson and Olson?
Yes.
Oh, no. Oh, you got anything on that, Chris?
Mr. Duncan, would you like to chime in on this? Here you go.
Okay, I got it.
We need to fix that.
So, yeah, there's some question that came up about the process or whatever, and the EDC has their own attorney, right? Olson and Olson, the gentleman from Olson and Olson, And so Dan and I, Mr. Pennington and I went through, what some of the questions were and forwarded those questions to the EDC attorney, and he came back with the opinion that this is in compliance with the requirements.
And he specified sections in the code with those explanations.
Thank you.
Council, any other questions or comments?
Well, I just know that there's a reason why Olson & Olson is not working for the City of Freeport City Council, because we lost confidence in their legal opinions, and for that matter, their truthfulness when they were dealing with the city. So leaning on Olson & Olson, I'm not willing to take that risk. And so when the state comes looking and auditing, I hope we have our T's crossed and our I's dotted. But I would just say, it's a real simple fix. If it's all the City of Freeport money, let's do it right. Let's do a budget amendment. Let's do it that way out of the general fund. There's no reason why we shouldn't do this, and we can do this at the next meeting, but making sure that we follow the right rules. If Mr. Pennington is leaning on Olson & Olson's opinion, I respectfully disagree. And I certainly respectfully disagree with Olson & Olson. And I was going to make sure that everybody knows what we're getting into here and how the spending of EDC money and other monies outside of the general fund are really being liberally applied to the extent that it may be actually illegal. And that's all I want to say. And I'll be bringing more receipts here as I get more information, not only from the EDC board of the state, but also, the regulators, I should say, but also TML. Thank you.
Chris, did you have any questions about the sections that Olson & Olson pointed out?
No, like I said, I just, we referred it to them. They're the attorney. I don't really have opinion on it because we rely on the EDC's attorneys to, make those decisions. So, I felt satisfied that they looked at the issues and that they provided their opinion on it.
All right, council. With that, I will call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed state nay.
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 Motion carries 3-2.
Mayor, before we proceed, I'd like to ask the question that what would happen if in the case of the EDC, state, and the TML come back and say, hey, yeah, in fact, that is incorrect application of those funds. Are we going to bring that back to turn this around and get it right? Will you help to make sure that that happens?
It would be my opinion that yes, if we caught wind that it was in fact illegal or can't be done, then we would bring it back.
Yeah, well, I'll send you emails that I got, that I'll be getting. Thank you.
Agenda item 4G, consideration and possible action approving ordinance number 2025-2753, approval of DWSRF abridged application for TWDB.
Thank you, Mayor. It's a lot of acronyms, and this is like what Ms. Oldham was talking about. This is to hire Westwood Professional Services. They have a lot of experience in this particular. This is a program. It's through the Texas Water Board. Program. They have two different routes that you can go. The DW means drinking water, or the other one that we'll get to in here in just a second is just a second application for the clean water. So two different applications. That's why there's two different resolutions. But essentially, this is if we get selected, so there's a sort of a two-hurdle process. The first hurdle is this, it's called a PIF, but it's to get the PIF's public information form filled out and submitted to the Texas Water Board. We do that by, I believe it's March. They'll take the PIF, and they'll have PIFs from all different cities they'll evaluate them, and then they'll let you know if you get an invitation to go to the second round. If we get an invitation, it's my experience that, we're very likely to get the funding. What this funding is, it starts out being a low-interest loan. And these loans can go up to 10 million plus. These are for both your water and your wastewater systems. So because our community, the average median household income, AMHI, is low, and so low below the state level, that up to currently 70% of that loan will be immediately forgiven. So if we borrow 10 million, 7 million will be immediately forgiven. Essentially a grant with a 30% matching requirement. One of the things that sort of changed the impact on this is there was a prop that was passed. I think it was Prop 14 that just went on in November, and we may end up getting more than 70% forgiven. The other 30% we can get at below market rates, which is about 2.5% right now for up to 30 year. And so it's a great program through the state. 70% of it will be forgiven if we get invited to the next round. And then the next round is more costly to apply to, but that cost can be rolled into the loan amount. Kind of like refining your home, you can roll the refi costs into the new mortgage. But long story short, again, there's not too many other places that you can get that kind of money and then get it forgiven right away, and only have to finance the 30%. And then, again, because of that prop, it may be less than 30%, but 30% would be the worst.
At a low interest.
Yes, and below market. If you want to borrow it, it would be below market rates there, like I said, 2.5%.
Council, what is your pleasure?
Mayor, I'm going to make a motion to approve as presented.
We have a motion to approve by Councilman Matamoros. Is there a second?
Y'all second it?
Second by Councilman Rosso. Any questions or comments on this, gentlemen?
I'm curious. What our CFO has to say about this particular grant.
CFO, can you come talk about this, not a grant, but a low interest loan?
But, I mean, specifically, what would you?
Yeah,
like
I'm just
to-
kind of curious what your thoughts are on this, the viability of it all, and how it compares to other programs that the city might have available to it.
I would say it's pretty good. That's better, better interest rates than you're gonna see anywhere else right now, for sure.
Have you used this before anywhere else?
No, I haven't.
Seen this anywhere else? Know of any other cities that use it?
Not to my knowledge. I think Mr. Pennington might have had some history with it.
We used it in Pasadena. Here, not sure why, since 1987 it's been available. The city has never received funding. They've only applied one time in 2016, and that project that they applied for did not make the cut.
But, okay, no further questions. Thank you so much.
You're
Appreciate it.
welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Pennington.
Yes, sir.
Council, any other questions or comments on this?
Is this the only kind of grant writing that they do, that specifically for this?
Specifically for this, we've been in contact. We've got about 4 other grant writers. We just finished with one that submitted on the 13th about a $900,000 100% grant. We're waiting from TxDOT to find out about that. We've got several other grants that we're writing. We've got several different grant writers that we're talking to. Each of them specialize in different grants.
All right. Appreciate that. I just wanted to
Yes, sir.
see if we were reaching out to, other grant writers now. I don't think we've been doing that enough, but that's good. I mean, it's good. Appreciate that.
Council, any other questions or comments? I will say I do like that 100% grant that you're talking about. I don't care how much it is. Hearing no more comments, I'll call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed state nay. Motion carries unanimously. 4H, kind of the same. Consideration and possible action approving ordinance number 2025-2754, approval of CWSRF, abridged application to TWDB.
Mayor, again, this is sort of a repeat of the first one. The first one was for the drinking water state revolving fund. This is for the clean water, so this would be for the wastewater side of things. Again, you know, it could go up to $10 million. It could go more. We know that there's at least a 70% loan forgiveness that's right away and below market interest rates again. Same thing.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
We have a motion to approve by Councilman Matamoros. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Davis. Any questions or comments on this one, gentlemen?
Yeah, one quick question here. Is the 70% forgiveness, is that triggered by any particular action, or is that just kind of a formality and it's automatically forgiven?
Well, once we're approved, they'll look at our, and tentatively, we've already done this, so that's what we know. The average median household income, we're somewhere around 10 or 11% below that, and that's what triggers. So once we get the loan, we file the paperwork, that's what would trigger it.
Great, thank you.
Even if we get the loan, if there's some kind of a hiccup and council doesn't want to move forward for whatever reason, it could be halted.
And who's responsible for making sure that that paperwork is put in place once, if we should actually ever use it?
Typically, it's our outstanding CFO.
Good deal. Thank you. No further questions.
Any other questions or comments, gentlemen? All right, I'll call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed state nay. Motion carries unanimously. Agenda item 4I, consideration and possible action approving resolution number 2025-2998, amending the purchasing policy. Ms. Hurst.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. The state recently increased their purchasing threshold guidelines in the Local Government Code, Chapter 252, from 50,000 up to 100,000. In doing so, it triggered some internal discussions on our current workflows, where we could improve and try to reduce some of the burden and extra workload that's put on current employees with the given low thresholds. So the city's current purchasing thresholds were adopted in March of 2024. They haven't been updated to reflect any inflation, higher unit cost for routine goods, and operational realties. As a result, small and mid-sized purchases frequently require higher level approvals than operationally necessary, which creates delays and adds administrative workload without improving internal control. Staff did review some peer city practices and then our own internal approval workflows, and we do recommend that we update the thresholds within the existing competitive purchasing requirements, the city charter, and applicable state law. This amendment would not change the competitive bidding requirements. It would only adjust the internal approval authority for commitments below formal procurement thresholds. This is a mouthful, I'm sorry. We would propose that the department head purchasing authority be moved up from 1,000 to 5,000, which would be 5% of the state threshold. We would propose that the finance director authority be moved up from 10,000 to 20,000, which would be 20% of the state threshold. And then we would propose that city manager authority be moved up from 30,000 to 60,000, which would be 60% of the state threshold. Currently, our processes require that anything over 3,000 requires 3 quotes and a purchase order. This change would raise that threshold slightly to 5,000. This would drastically reduce the workload on staff of both the finance department, where purchasing is held, and then the different department heads. Currently, any purchase over $1,000 requires the signature of the department head as well as the finance director. This has become a burden at times, creating a lag in processing of invoices, as well as additional workload of both finance department and department heads. Currently, in our policy, the verbiage of the policy allows for the finance director to be vested to enter into a contract. It also allows for the city manager to enter into a contract without any required city attorney approval. This proposal would correct both of those issues as well. All purchases must continue to comply with the policy, including those quote requirements, encumbrance controls, budget availability, and applicable state law. Contracts or purchases at or above the formal procurement thresholds would remain subject to competitive processes and the city council approval as applicable. The rationale for our request would be operational efficiency to reduce bottlenecking for routine and budgeted expenditures. Right-size control would keep higher level review for larger and higher risk purchases while empowering departments for those minor needs. Cost realism reflects inflation and market pricing for standard supplies, maintenance, and services. Transparency is still preserved through our documentation, quote requirements, and audit trail standards remain unchanged. Overall, all purchasing remains subject to the adopted budget line items.
Council, is there a motion?
Mayor, I make a motion to approve as presented.
We have a motion to approve by Councilman Matamoros. Is there a second?
Yes, I'll second it.
Seconded by Councilman Rosso. Ms. Hurst, if I'm not mistaken, back when Mr. Kelty was here, he had approval up to $50,000, and Mr. Petty lowered it down to $30,000. Is that?
I didn't want to put it in here, but it was my belief that after Covarrubias, the thresholds were drastically lowered and additional paperwork was required for those purchases.
Okay. On the amounts that the department heads and the finance director, have those amounts changed over the years?
Yes, sir. So
well?
those went down at the same time. The finance director prior to the last revision held that 20,000. I believe department heads held 3,000 prior to that. Don't quote me on that one, but I do know that the other two for sure changed.
Okay, thank you. Council, any other questions or comments for Ms. Hurst?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Could you repeat what the department heads went up to? Was it went up?
So we would propose that it would go up to that 5,000 before they would have to have the purchase order.
And it was currently at 3,000?
Yes.
And so all of these proposals, they can be individually, you can leave one the same, or you can leave two the same, or you can bump up three, like CO, city manager.
It's y'all's to do with what you want. We just brought what we would propose.
Right.
Given what we see a lot of in office. Like, at the end of the day, it still has to be within their budget for them to make that purchase. They can't just make a willy-nilly purchase because they feel like it or they have the authority to.
They have to come and turn it in to you, or
Prior
if they
to the
want to make,
purchase? So they can make the purchase, but it has to be within that budget already. If they were to make a purchase that would cause their budget to go over, at that point, I'm sure city manager and possibly council would step in for I can't think of the word off the top of my head, but there would be additional consequences.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir. Mr. Duncan would like to say something.
Yeah, I have a little bit of concern about signing contracts without a city attorney review. And I'll give you just a couple of simple examples from when I was city attorney previously. Several years ago, I forgot who it was, they sent me an agreement for processing credit card payments, a credit card processing agreement with credit card company, which is, on the face of it, there's no dollar figure really associated with it. And the standard credit card agreement that they had for vendors had a lot of items in that agreement saying that basically they can do chargebacks and come and take money out of our bank accounts, that they can take money out of any bank account that we have, which is obviously illegal because we have certain bank accounts for certain things, right? And so on the face of the basic credit card agreement, there were a lot of things that were illegal under state law that if we sign is not very good, right? And so, and it was simple enough because I just contacted credit card company and said, hey, all of these provisions are illegal. And they said, oh yeah, we do business with cities and government entities, they just give the standard agreement unless somebody says something. And then if they get contacted by the attorney, then they take all the illegal stuff out. And it's one of those things where they'll do it if they can get away with it, but if you object, they just take it out. And then another item, we did a cell tower agreement, and it seemed pretty straightforward. But it turns out there were some other considerations as far as them being able to use the cell tower, not necessarily to improve the connection for the citizen. That sounds good. We have cell towers, so we have better connection for cell. But actually, they were doing it to try to prevent competitors from being able to put cell towers in the area, right? And so, because I was familiar with those cell tower agreements, pointed that out to Mr. Kelty, and we made sure to put in there that if any other cell company wants to rent space on that tower, they're required to allow others. And so a lot of times, what may seem like a simple contract, if you don't have the attorney look over it, then there could be other things that come up. So
just to clarify, currently our policy allows
Yes, that's
for
what I was
me
about to.
enter a contract without your approval. I'm saying that
We're
this
making that
updated
change.
policy fixes that and requires
it does
city
require
attorney.
me to.
Yes.
Okay. I
Yes.
got it
Yes.
backwards.
Yeah,
Okay.
just to
You were
clarify.
testing us.
All right. Thank you.
We agree with you.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, there were several things in the contract and the purchasing policy.
Another thing I forgot to note, but it also clearly states if city manager has to be out for any given reason, then assistant city manager holds that that same purchasing authority that city manager has. That wasn't in the policy, and Mr. Pennington, given the way this year has gone, recommended we put that in there as well.
Council, any other questions or comments?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
There's a lot of problems with this whole situation. I'm just kind of shocked why this is even brought to us as a council, especially on the heels of, it's not the boogeyman to say Covarrubias, Covarrubias, Covarrubias. Covarrubias, 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 Kelty, Kelty, Kelty. What else do we need to know than we can't be trying to uncuff City Hall when we're still in the middle of the lawsuit with Covarrubias. The smoke hasn't even cleared, and we're over here talking about, let's give a little more latitude to City Hall. No. They got to earn the trust. City Hall has to earn the trust. The public is not in a position right now where they trust City Hall to be doing the best and right thing for our monies. I say our monies because I'm a citizen. We got to be more responsible with this whole tax revenue, tax dollars, how the council allows the City Hall to spend money. Remember the city manager that also stole money before, Kelty? And the city secretary? Where was the oversight then? We should be asking for more oversight. Good grief. So I want to make sure I'm clear on this because this was an issue here. So bullet number, 5 or 6 here. It says here, currently the verbiage of the policy allows for the finance director to be vested to enter into a contract. That scares me because of easy money, number one. It also allows for the city manager to enter into a contract without required city attorney prior approval. Now, when you say it also allows for the city manager to enter into a contract, that's the current policy or the future policy?
That's
when
the
you
current
prefer-
policy.
The current.
And so when we say this proposal corrects both of those issues, so that means that any contract that the CFO enters into or executes and/or the city manager, the future city manager executes, we're going to always have eyes and ears of legal to look at this.
That's correct.
But any other contract that is being consummated by any of the department heads, what's the oversight on that?
They don't have authority to sign.
There's, yeah.
They don't have authority to sign contracts. The only one that would be the 2 or 3 that's listed after legal reviews the terms and conditions and concurs that they could sign it, or it needs to go on council. But that's to correct the problem that's existing now.
Well,
If I'm not mistaken, when I revised it to add in city attorney approval being required prior to a contract execution, I think finance director was taken out entirely, so that it's solely with the city manager.
And so, yeah, so that only means that if the city manager's out, there's only 2 people, which would be the assistant city manager. So, again, this is to correct a deficiency we saw.
Well-
City Hall.
well, again, if that is, the way this is worded, it's a little misleading. I think that's where the confusion was on the it, on who is, on what contract we're referring to. If the new one remedies the city manager being basically double-checked and the finance director also being double-checked by legal, which was explained here by our current attorney, and for that matter, experienced painfully so by the residents here over the last several years, I'm okay with that particular provision. However, there's so many things that are wrong with this thing. I mean, first and foremost, why are we going 500% up for the department heads from 1,000 to 5,000? I mean, I don't want to try to like candy coat this by saying, well, it's only 5%. They're going up 500%. The finance director going from 10,000 to 20,000, that's a 200% increase. The city manager from 30,000 to 60,000, another 200% increase. I mean, let's walk before let's crawl before we can walk.
The state law changed this last September 1st.
Are we mandated to match the state?
I did not say that.
Okay, that's the whole deal, right?
So when the state law changed
Well,
from
the state law is
50,000
state
to
law, and I'll let other
100,000,
cities worry about their own
the way it works is
sins.
that that would be 60%. Y'all approved 60% of what the state law was before it changed. That was 30,000. So 60,000 is still nearly is proportionate, and it's nearly half of what the state law allows.
Well, again, I don't care what the state says if we don't have to comply with it mandated wise. What I care about is the problems that we've had here in Freeport. What I care about is the city hall has not earned the right, and here we are, we're in the middle of a transition. We're going to have a new city manager and on December 15th. And I just think it's entirely irresponsible to just give carte blanche all these increases to a new city manager until there's like a proven track record, and we can see that in fact there has been a track record of compliance, of financial fiduciary responsibilities proven. I mean, I'm glad that we're moving in the right direction, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Good grief. Let's just not, and I thought, well, there's might be this one provision that sounds kind of good and sounds kind of cute. Well, as long as nothing's going to get passed because it's already in the budget. Well, you guys were here 2 months ago when we're trying to go through the budget, and then we have 2 councilmen flaking out, wanting to leave, go home, so we never actually go through the line items. So we didn't get to know what those line items were. We didn't get to vote on those. So it's just like, man, it's like the blind leading the blind here. Or just, let's try to get away with something here while we can, while no one's looking, while there's this transition. No, this has just got grossness written all over it. The only thing I can think that we can do for this particular resolution here is that we line item this stuff and we fix it. because it's not fixed as it is, as it's presented right now. I mean, I don't know how the rest of the council can sit with this. I mean, how are you going to explain this when, you know, somebody makes off with another contract or excuse me, makes off with overspending stuff? I mean, just, and for that matter, oh, well, you know, it was on the budget. Well, did you look at the budget? No, because we didn't. And then you're going to say, well, you know, as long as it's compliant. Well, did you guys not pay attention to the last 5 years of our audits, how crappy those were? We have crap audits. That's what I'm saying. We cannot even begin to walk yet. We're trying to crawl, and I don't understand why we're trying to all of a sudden think that we're this light on the mountain, light on the hill, model city for financial fiduciary responsibility and high trustworthiness. I mean, I just did a podcast here. This is what the city has a problem with still today. We don't trust City Hall yet. We have good people. We're moving in the right direction, but we haven't even gotten to day one of the new leadership of our city manager. Now, I'm excited for her, but I also don't want to put her up to fail, and I certainly don't want to let anybody get away with anything while the cat's away. Well, hey, well, you know, the provision says we can get this much more. Look, there's been more examples of abuse that should be discouraging us from trying to raise these monies for these budgets, for these departments. We should be still either holding the line at minimum. I can tell you this, though. I will say, I know we're in the process of negotiating the contract with the city attorney, and I would make sure that they are looking at every contract, and I want to make sure that that was stipulated in the contract. And I'm glad that particular piece is in here. But the rest of this, oh my gosh, entirely irresponsible. So I don't know how this is recommended. I really wish this would have been drafted and brought to council to think about and workshop on it, because this is something that's so important that this is the game, right? We get to the council, and then we get this momentum, and it's, hey, the opposite of what Pena says. Well, listen, I'm telling you, I haven't been wrong about the finances. We've been losing money. So I'm just asking for council to really understand, to ask yourself, did you really read this? Do you really think that our city is ready for that? It's not. And there's no harm in going back and, hey, let's make sure we do it right. Let's keep the legal oversight, absolutely. But the raising of the budget items for the department heads and the city manager and the finance director, I mean, it's like, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, what the hell's going on here, right? We had Jeff Pines, then we had Tim Kelty. And we haven't even gotten into the losses about Lance Petty and that terrible leadership, criminal as well. So I'm just like over here, you know, I'm appreciating that we want to move the needle forward, we're trying to make progress, but this is not that. This is not that progress in its whole that we need. I mean, I'm all for the legal oversight. We need that because there's been contracts that have been put forward previously with Olson & Olson that just were a mess. And I won't even get into some of those because some of those contracts actually are a part of the lawsuits that the city is a part of. So just want to let everybody know there's things I can't talk about, but I will tell you that we have contracts that are part of various lawsuits that didn't have any oversight.
All right, we're getting off.
Well, my point
topic.
is that I'm okay with this oversight on the legal, but we got to go and clean this thing up. This is not, I don't know why you guys are thinking this is something we need to move forward with. I emphatically and will repeatedly criticize both this item and until it's fixed. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, that's one man's opinion. Council, any other questions or comments on this?
Yeah. Let's see. Like I was asking, that's why I was asking, can we do one or the other? Like the department heads. I mean, I think we'll wait till the city manager come and see if she want to look over the department heads and see if we stable in that area. And with the rest of it, I mean, I'm good with it, but.
Council, anyone?
Make all of these decisions before she get here.
Yeah, I like that too. That's a good idea. Make sure that she knows who her team is.
Yeah.
And whether or not she can trust them.
Councilman Davis has the floor, please.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm confident in Ashley's position. You know, got the new city manager coming in. She got, you know, good experience, but I would like her to, you know, look over that and see if she comfortable with her department head team, you know, to be making bigger decisions like that. But it is good on that. Now we got the attorney in there, but I mean, if it can just be amended with that, I mean, the rest of it, it's good to go.
Council, any other questions? I'm sorry, were you finished?
No, I'm through.
All right. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, Mayor, based on what was just described and discussed here, are you interested at all in actually trying to amend this so that it fits for Freeport, and for that matter, the transition that we're in, to allow Ms. Kelly to actually structure this as she sees fit?
Yeah, we have a motion and yes, we do. We have a motion and a second to approve it as presented. You know, we're some pretty smart guys up here, I think, along with Mr. Pennington and Mr. Duncan. The city is not going to stop working and stop moving because we have a new city manager coming in. You know, with the argument that you're placing up there, and then why are we even having meetings until she gets here?
That's not my argument at all. That's not even my point.
That was your point.
No, that was actually Councilman Davis's point, which
Okay.
I don't disagree with. My point is that we have a track record, a terrible track record. Three city managers in a row.
None.
And it all starts at the top. So you have 3 city managers in a row and their subordinate staff just replete with malfeasance. And you want to give them more money? You want to give them more allowances?
I will say $1,000 doesn't go as far today as it did 5 years ago. And I will also say,
It's $5,000 and $20,000.
I know it's currently
and
$1,000. It's currently $1,000.
And there's a
I
reason
didn't
for that.
interrupt you,
I'm just having a discussion
and
with you.
I didn't interrupt you, and I'd appreciate the same respect. I also would like to say that the aforementioned issues that have arose financially with the city, none of them fell under what we are discussing right now. So with that, council, I will call the vote. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed state nay.
Nay.
What was your vote, Councilman Davis?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-1.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. We have agenda item 4J, consideration and possible action to approve resolution number 2025-2999, authorizing the police department to submit for a bullet-resistant components grant and approving the city manager as the authorized official. Ms. Howell.
Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Good
We are looking currently at going for a grant that would provide bullet-resistant components to the vehicles. This was some things that came about with legislation to be able to get patrol vehicles outfitted where they could have bullet resistance due to just the increase in officer-involved shootings. This grant and everything is 100% funded. It would be no match requirement. There's not a minimum. There's not a maximum. And so we'd like to go ahead and put in for this grant and then have the resolution to make Mr. Pennington our authorized official for this.
Once again, I like 100% funded.
We do
Council?
too.
Mayor, I have a quick question before we make a motion, and that is, when is this supposed to go into effect? And should we have Mr. Pennington as the authorized official, or should we have this with Ms. Kelly as the authorized?
So the deadline's approaching. That's why we were going to go ahead and do the resolution now, so we could get everything submitted. The deadline hits before she arrives, and then we'll come back and do an amendment on it.
Fair enough.
If we're selected then at that point.
Thank you, Chief.
Council, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Motion to approve by Councilman Matamoros. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Rosso. Any questions or comments on this, gentlemen? Hearing none, I will call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed state nay. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Agenda item 4K, consideration and possible action to approve the Chief of Police to enter into updated MOU with Texas Department of Public Safety.
So this is a memorandum of understanding with Texas DPS. Nothing changes on our end. It's some updates that DPS made on their end regarding entering vehicles in to the TCIC system for stolen vehicles. And so they had pushed out as far as for new MOUs. Again, doesn't change anything for our policies, our procedures, our practices. This is just something, an update that they did on their end.
And doesn't cost anything.
It costs nothing, correct?
Mayor, I make a motion to approve as presented.
We have a motion to approve by Councilman Matamoros.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councilman Pena. Kind of strange night where you got to hurry up to get that second in before Councilman Rosso. Any questions or comments?
No questions.
I'm sorry?
No questions.
Anyone else? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed state nay. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Agenda item 4L, consideration and possible action approving ordinance number 2025-2755, establishing a written procedures to consider ethics complaints. Mr. Duncan.
Thank you, Mayor. So we had a ethics complaint that was filed a few months back, and after I began here as in the interim position, that I was requested to look into it, and when reviewing the the allegations, and then you compare that to the ethics complaint to determine if there's merit or not. I noticed that in the ethics complaint, the ethics ordinance that was previously passed by City Council, it has provisions where if a council person violates the ethical rules that they can be censured, but it didn't have any guidelines or procedures for ethics complaints filed against council-appointed board members. And so this, after talking to Mr. Pennington about this, and I put together an amendment to the ordinance that would actually establish procedures if an ethics complaint is filed against a board member. And so that would require that the complaint has to be filed in writing and filed with the city secretary. Then the complaint is then forwarded to the city manager and the city attorney. The city attorney will, together with the city manager, collect the facts, compare the facts to the provisions of the ethics ordinance, and then the city attorney would then write a report to the city council, either saying the opinion that there is a potential ethical violation or that the allegations do not violate the ethics ordinance. That would be presented to council. Council can then decide whether the city attorney recommends that there could be, that the allegations at least form the basis of an ethical violation. There's not a finding of fact, just as that, do the allegations fit the statute? And so the city council then has the discretion reviewing the report whether to move forward or not to move forward with the complaint. If the complaint does move forward, then there would be a public hearing on the complaint. It would be in a council meeting. Everybody would be able to bring witnesses, present evidence, and then the council would vote if they make a finding that there was a violation of the ethics ordinance. And so this provides for due process for the person that the complaint is made against and the person that's making the complaint. And so that's what the this proposed ordinance would do, would create a procedure. It should be pointed out also that because the board members of all the boards serve at the pleasure of the council, that, if the finding of that there was a violation of the ethics ordinance, under this ordinance, the board member would be automatically removed and then prohibited from serving on boards for a term decided by the council up to a maximum of 4 years. However, because it's not exclusive, right? So the city council can at any time appoint members to board or remove members from a board. It's not required to have an ethical violation to be removed. But of course, that has to require that an item is put on the agenda to, appoint someone or remove someone, has been followed. It's, the same process that we followed in the past. So this is not the exclusive or only reason to remove a board member or replace a board member, but this is the procedure for, allegations of violations of the ethics ordinance.
Council, is there a motion? We have a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilman Davis. Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Councilman Rosso. Any discussion on this, gentlemen?
I have a quick comment, question.
Yes, sir.
It's my understanding, and I'd like to make sure I get some clarification on this, but it's my understanding that this particular ordinance was instigated, or required, I should say, because of the ethical complaints against the chair of the charter, Sam Reyna, and the chair of Board of Adjustments, Nicole Morales. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I understand that and that's on the record. Thank you.
So on that complaint, because I seen an email, they asked about a update on it. So do we have a ruling on what happened on that complaint?
No, we will, once we adopt this policy, then I will submit a report to the city council with regard to whether the allegations made in the complaint violate any of the rules of the ethics ordinance, right? So then, once y'all pass this policy, if you do, then I'll submit a report, and then that'll be considered by the council at the next meeting. Yeah, so part of the reason for the delay is that the ethics ordinance just doesn't have any procedure or any penalty related to board members at all.
Right. So like if a board member came up and spread lies on a councilman, I can file a ethics complaint on him too then, right?
Like, I don't get into hypotheticals.
No, it ain't
I just, if an ethics complaint is filed in writing and submitted to the city secretary, then at that time I'll consider the allegations of the complaint, right? So any person can make a complaint, an ethics complaint against a council member or a board member.
Oh, all right.
So you can make a complaint if that's what you're asking.
Yes, sir. That's what I was asking, if I can make a complaint.
But does this regulate the procedure for the city council to remove any board members, whether there's an ethical complaint or not?
We already have that authority.
No, that's the question. Does this diminish that? Does this reinforce that? What does this do for that?
It doesn't affect it at all. It's the same.
So what remains in place still is council can remove board members from the appointed boards.
If you put it on the agenda and you'll have a vote, right?
Okay. That's one method, and the second method is through the ethics.
Right, that's a completely separate type of problem.
So if citizens want to complain.
That's for the citizens.
Got it. Okay.
Through the ethics, it still requires to come to council and have a vote.
Fair enough. Thank you. No further questions.
Any other questions or comments, gentlemen? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed state nay.
Nay.
Motion carries 4-1. With that, I believe let me get back up here. Brings us to, work session. Councilman Pena, Ward A.
Yeah, I want to make sure that everybody that came out is acknowledged. Thank you for coming out. And thank you for volunteering for the boards, Ms. Green and Ms. Queen, as everybody knows her in the community, Michelle Bachman. So look forward to having you guys being on the Main Street Board and bringing y'all's energy and ideas. Wanted to make that first comment here. Bear with me, I got to get to my notes. Mr. Cool brought up the issue of 4th and Pecan, and I didn't get the timetables, but it was 23 accidents and two citations. And I'm wondering what we need to do there, if it's simply a four-way stop, speed bumps, a road blockade, whatever it takes to make sure it is safe. And I'm just curious if the city has looked at anything else beyond the stop signs that were placed there.
Mr. Pennington, you got an answer for that?
Yes. We've already contracted with an engineering firm. Texas Transportation Code requires that there has to be an engineering study or their opinion. So we'll have that proposal on council as soon as we get it. And I was told it would be somewhere around the $6,000 to $7,000 mark. But we have to have that. We can't just plant stop signs. As logical as it may seem and as frustrating as it may seem, is laid out in the transportation code. We've already been working on it.
Is there any way that we might be able to put some cones there in the middle of the intersection, just as a visual, hey, there's something in the road from the streets department, number one, and or for that matter, even a couple of those blinking horses, even if they're on the side of the road, it just kind of raises the awareness to say, hey, wait a minute, is that a construction sign? Is this a construction site there, or is there something I need to be looking out for? And I think that might also kick in a little bit of a foot on the brake, especially if people are speeding down 4th. I'm just curious, are we allowed to make those kinds of changes?
I wouldn't encourage putting cones in the middle of the roadway or anything like that. If there's something that could be on the side, I can have Rudy go out there and take a look at it, and we can do a deep dive of the transportation code to see what we can and cannot do. But I don't think it'll take us too long to get the engineering study or the opinion. It didn't sound like it was a lengthy process, so it shouldn't take that long, but I'll have Rudy take a look out there.
I appreciate it, yeah. I think even the horses on the side with the blinking light, is that what they're called, the horses? I think that's what they're called. I know that they had those over there off of the Pine Street exit off to Broad. There were several there to discourage 18-wheelers from making the wrong illegal turn. And it doesn't stop them, but it at least raises their awareness. And I think here for the residents and the kids and the families there that if the stop signs are doing nothing, that we have a resident coming forward so passionately, and I think he articulated the point pretty well, that we should try to at least look at having those horses out there with the blinking light until the study's complete and a long-term solution is put in place. I just want to go on record requesting that. And I really wish that I could get into all the executive session items as it relates to how we interviewed all of the various candidates. but I want to assure you that everything that was brought forward during citizen comments was in fact contemplated and disproven. And so rest assured that all the recent hires have in fact had their legal vetting, and that's for Mr. Pearson. But I also know that there was some allegations in executive session where there was a paper trail that was supposed to be provided by Mr. Matamoros, and I've yet to receive that on some of his accusations that he made during executive session. So I'll be asking for those here after the meeting. And I'm really excited about the Thanksgiving dinner that we're having next week. I do highly encourage everybody to come out, because in fact, that is actually a very amazing event that the city has. I think it's the best one that we have that really expresses the generosity in our community. And so I'll be there to volunteer and certainly have some pumpkin pie, so I encourage everybody else to be there. And then I also want to give a shout out to our Main Street director, Ms. Lopez, for organizing the events for the Christmas holiday. And I hope that if you need any volunteers, that is also announced and allow citizens to also help and volunteer. All hands on deck on that is greatly appreciated. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Davis, Ward B.
All right. Well, good evening. What time is it? Oh, man. We doing good. 7:50. 7:50. Hey, well, once again, thank y'all for coming out. I know it's a repeated thing. Thank you for the volunteers to be on the board. We need y'all support. We need your hard work. We got a lot of work to do. And we got congratulations to Danielle Kelly, Ms. Kelly, coming in, a new city manager. You know, she has a vision. She's coming in with some energy, sounds like, with some experience. It's time for a new mindset, somebody with a vision. So I'm excited about that. I had went to the TML conference, and, I came back with a vision. I came back with a vision and a plan. And, I'm going to be presenting that, here to the public here shortly, but, and also to council. I just hope that everybody have an open mind, and, see it out, think about it, see the benefits. Let's go through the pros and the cons. Just give it a chance. Think about Freeport. What is it going to do for Freeport? Not what is it going to do for self. That'll be coming out pretty shortly here. I have to respond. Last council meeting, had a citizen comment come up and, make some statements about me that I was getting free water bills. That's absurd. That's crazy to me, how people can just come up here and say things like that. But, I would ask that, council, if y'all think something like that, man, please go talk to Ashley on the water department. I ain't never got a free water bill. I done paid high water bills just like the rest of y'all. For example, I had a water bill, said I used 13,000 gallons of water. Now, if y'all look at your water bill and you kind of watch your gallons and stuff, so you know that 13 gallons is a little high. Ain't no way I use 13 gallons of water, 13,000 gallons of water. So my next water bill is 7,000 gallons. So that's about where I range at. Found there was no leak. I still had to pay the water bill, almost $300. But I'm getting free water bills. That's just unfair to me. I'm a councilman, I'm getting free water bills, and the citizens, you know, you got all these high water bills out here. So I don't appreciate that. So I can't address it at the time, but I want to address it now. So I just assure y'all that that's not true. So I don't know why, you know, trying to attack my integrity, my character, but, you know, it ain't gonna happen. Just excited to, you know, the new change that we're gonna have. I know council, we have to, you know, we got a new city manager, and we gotta come together, y'all. You know, we gotta put our differences aside, and we gotta do what's best for Freeport. And I think it can be done. You know, I think we got a group of guys up here, you know, with the right leadership. You know, we can all come together and, you know, be a effective council for the residents of Freeport. You know, we're gonna go through some bumps, you know, but I think we're gonna get it together, and, you know, start to see some investment, some development, some, you know, some foot traffic here in Freeport. We're gonna stop declining, claiming it right now. We're gonna stop declining in numbers. We're gonna start growing in numbers. But everybody has to keep an open mind. You know, I know we want houses. I know we want, you know, this and that. You know, but it all has to come together, and we're a big part of making it come together. So I challenge you guys. Let's come together and make something good happen here in Freeport. Thank you.
Councilman Matamoros, Ward C.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. I'd like to thank Dan and Public Works for a couple of issues that I've brought forth with housekeeping around my ward. Thank you for taking care of those in a prompt manner. There are a couple of issues still outstanding. One is Yellowstone, the street going north. There's a couple of issues that have had, the road has been saw cut, but it hasn't been repaired. If I can get an ETA of when that will happen, it's a pretty bad couple of spots. They repaired the side coming south, but which wasn't as bad first. Number two, there's a resident on the corner of Avenue G and Yellowstone. He's had some standing water in his ditch for probably going on a couple of months. And we haven't really had any rain, and it's just still standing there. If we can have Public Works go take a look at it. I have pictures and that I'll send you, Dan, and see why it's just still standing there. And it's, when it goes across the street, it's standing there as well. So if we can take a look at that and get that remedied, because it's becoming a health hazard. And then last, I hope the residents stay for after our executive session. I think there's something interesting with one of these items, and I think you should be aware of what's being proposed. So, thank you.
Councilman Rosso, Ward D.
Yes, I too would like to thank Freeport citizens coming out every first and third Monday to hear the complaints and the good stuff that's going on in the city. I look forward to the most wonderful time of the year, which is October, November, December. The feast, I'm sure it's going to be successful. That's an awesome thing that the city of Freeport does every Thanksgiving. with a lot of participation. Tomorrow, I'm on the board for the Gulf Coast Transit District. We meet every other month. I'm on the board. They elected me to be on the board. Y'all got me on the board.
Best man for the job.
So I got to get up early in the morning, drive to Texas City, which I'm not complaining. Don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. I'm thanking God for this beautiful weather we've had day after day after day. Well, Wednesday and Thursday, we're supposed to get some serious rain. They're talking inch and a half of rain. That's a lot of rain. We're bone dry. Well, I don't think we're in burn ban, are we, Davis? Are we in the burn ban? No? Not yet. Yeah, we're probably the only county that's not in the burn ban. I guess it's because we're on the coast, closer to the coast, and we still have humidity. Anyway, you out there in cyber world, keep watching. We mean well here in the city of Freeport. We want the best for this city. Contrary to popular belief, we do love our city and care about it. Looking forward to Miss Kelly getting here. Hate to see Dan leave. He's done a great job in my opinion. We're gonna miss him. I wish he could stay, but he said he's gonna retire. We'll see how that work out. Retirement is good. Trust me, it is. He's going to love it, hopefully. That's all I got, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. You know, I too would like to thank those that come out tonight. We had almost full house whenever we started this afternoon, and it's just past 8 o'clock. I know that sounds kind of odd to be at this point in the meeting at 8 o'clock, but we still we made it, and we still have some people sitting out here, and thank y'all. Like Councilman Rosso said, this is one of my favorite times of the year, and thanks to Ms. Lopez, we have a lot of good stuff coming up, as well as the Thanksgiving feast. You know, so everybody, I'm not going to sit here and try to name everything that's going on because, like I say, there's quite a bit. It is on the city website, so and it's on your screen right now. So keep in tabs with the city website and see, because I'm sure you don't want to miss any of these activities. Speaking of the city website, if you haven't gone on and checked out the new website, it's a must-do. Compared to the antiquated site that we used to have, and Toby, I don't know if this is your doings or it is. Well, my hat's off to you, because you know, from our standpoint, there's quite often we need to look up ordinances and such, and with the new website, even on the phone, it is so easy. So thank you for all the hard work in making that happen. Mr. Pennington, I spoke with you earlier in the week, and I hope I can get an update about the traffic light on 2nd Street and Brasport Boulevard, 288.
I think I sent an email to Rudy to take a look at it. He'll be getting with TxDOT. I'm not sure if they've gotten back with you yet, have they? No, they haven't. Okay. We'll try to put a rush on it.
Okay, because I'm getting a lot of concerns and comments about the length of time that thing is read. It's about twice as long as what we're used to.
I see people getting frustrated and running at night too. I mean, it'd be at nighttime, but still, it's bad.
Well, I witnessed someone in front of the high school coming down 2nd Street. He wasn't in the right-hand side, the turn lane. He was actually in the left-hand or the 2nd lane. The guy in the turn lane was waiting, and this guy just went ahead and went around him. Yes, but we are looking into that. Thank you.
If we could put that light over there on 4th Street, that'd probably be a good idea.
Last but not least, this is a meeting later than what I would like to have spoke about it, but at the last meeting we ran late and we skipped the council comments. But I want to congratulate the Parks Department and the City of Freeport for another successful Fright Night. In my opinion, it is one of the most attended events that we have. And I will say, not speaking as the mayor, but speaking as one of a group of people that we call ourselves the Misfits, that we appreciate being able to participate in this event with the City of Freeport. And I hope that we can continue doing it for many years. So, Mr. Pennington, that's all I've got.
I just would like to acknowledge the fact that we do still have several openings on the Senior Citizen Commission. We've got almost half the board either in queue or online, so we'd be happy to take any other applications. It's probably the board that has some of the greatest attendance today. Like I said, there were probably 75 to 100 people playing bingo. A lot of people were there. Some people that were there did turn in applications, so I'm very thankful for those. And for Ms. Laird and Nicole now that's on for stepping up. So if y'all do know someone, it's 55 and older, we'd be excited to have you. So please put in an application. And that's really all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. With that, ladies and gentlemen, it is now 8:07. We are going to go into executive session. Closed executive session as authorized by the Texas Open Meetings Act, Section 551.071, consultation with attorney. B, Section 551.072, deliberation regarding real property. And C, Section 551.087, deliberation regarding economic development negotiations, including the following items. 1, 21-acre Skinner Street project. 2, development agreement with Skymark et al. And D, Section 551.074, personnel matters, negotiate and discuss city attorney contract. So we're now in executive session. I expect it to be about an hour.